I'm Jocelyn Chan. I'm a data analyst who's passionate about data analytics and software engineering. In this channel, you'll hear me sharing about analytics tips and tricks and what I'm working on to self-teach myself software engineering topics. If you wanted to join me on a journey to grow and learn different skill sets, please don't forget to subscribe and smash the like button to support my channel. And let's get started. So today we're talking about marketing lift test. Considering there are so many ads platforms out there, it can be overwhelming for you to choose which platform or ad campaign to optimize that is most cost-effective and efficient. So people just end up trying it all and still don't know which one drives them conversions. So in order to avoid wasteful spending, marketing lift test is a statistical approach for you to evaluate your option before you even allocate budgets to that. So what is lift test? Looking at the definition, it is to find out the difference by having one specific change or not between the two groups. So there are three keywords there. The first, difference. In marketing test, normally we're looking at a campaign effectiveness. So for example, if a campaign can drive more sales. And the second, with or without the variation, is related to that one specific change or not. So in our case, we'll be serving Google search ads campaign or not. So only one group will receive the ads, and the other group will not receive any treatment, which in this case is the ads. So only test group receive the ads. So because one group doesn't receive anything, that's why we call them holdouts. So oftentimes we're looking at lift test versus the A/B test. What's the difference between the two? A/B test, their definition is find out the difference in two versions of the testing object between the two groups. So the difference between A/B test and the lift test is really about, is it one variation or two variations? So the difference effect of variation is the same. We're looking at the difference in numbers of sales. However, this time we'll have two different variations. For example, you can have two different ad creatives. So both of the group actually receive treatment. They both gonna be served with some type of creative. It's just a different type of creative between the two. However, if you remember, in lift test, only one group received the treatment. So that's why, because A/B test, both of them receive something. So we don't call them holdouts. We call them test versus control. Because in the real world, oftentimes you wanted to test out if you can get something better result by tweaking some little things. So for example, a landing page, you wanted to change the button color, where you place the button, or what's the call to action. The one that received the original creative is the control. And you wanted to test if that difference can actually yield any better or worse results. So that's the test and control for the A/B test versus test and the holdout for the lift test. So here, I wanted to give you some examples so you can understand better about how to determine if they are lift or A/B test. So a use case for lift test, such as what's the difference in return of investment, which is the ROI, by using a new vendor to help increase reach to prospects. So the keyword here is we only have one variation, which is this one specific vendor you wanted to test out. So because one variation versus two, the one variation means lift test. Second example, what's my incremental CAC, which is customer acquisition cost, when offering a discount to incentivize customer to place the first order versus not offering any discounts. So the keyword here is incremental. Because it's incremental, we're talking about if that variation gives us additional conversion or action. And again, if it's only one variation, because we just wanted to test out the concept of a discount. So that is a lift test. In terms of an A/B test, the use case will be which audience segment will respond better to my holiday flash sales campaign. So the keyword here, which, tells you that we're trying to compare two different things and see which one's better. So there are gonna be two variations. In this case, will be two different segments, and we're trying to figure out which one's better. So that's an A/B test. And similarly, the second use case, which vendor based on the same budget will help my business generate more sales or leads. So keyword again, which, compare the two. So we're gonna have two variations. In this case, will be two different vendors, and we're trying to understand which one is better. So will give us more lead. So comparison between the two, both of the group have to receive something. Then that is the A/B test. So here I wanted to give you some challenge to think about the difference between the lift and the A/B test. So for example, the first challenge, which items should we provide discount that can attract more first-time buyer? Is it a lift or A/B test? And the second, is a new campaign worth launching considering people can convert from other existing campaigns? Is it a lift or A/B test? So here is the answer. The first one is an A/B test because we're going to look for the keyword which means comparing between the two and figure out which one is better. And the second is a lift because the keyword here only one variation, which is a new campaign. So great.
Let's recap on what we just talked about in the example. Let's say in the A/B test, we had both group controlling the test and they both received some type of treatment. In this case, control group, we have a 15 conversion rate versus 20% that we receive in the test group. So in order to evaluate which one is the winner, we need to also calculate the business metric. So for example, the cost per action. So we use the dollars that we spend on each group, let's say $5,000, and divide it by the absolute numbers of conversion. In this case, will be 150 out of 1,000 people because we have 15% of conversion rate. And that gives us a $33 of cost per action. The same thing we did it for the test group. In this case, we have a $25 cost per action. So that helps us to conclude the test group, the learn more button, is more effective. And the lift test on the other side, we have holdout and the test group. The holdout will not receive the ads, while the test group will. Let's say holdout group generated a 20% without serving Facebook ads, while the test group received a 23% of conversion rate after serving Facebook ads. So to evaluate the incremental and additional value, we wanted to calculate the lift, which is how much percentage we're increasing the conversion rate compared to a 20% we could have already gotten without that Facebook ads. And to bring back to a business metric, here is very important. We calculate the incremental cost per action. So instead of divided by the absolute number of conversion, 230 received in the test group, we are taking the difference between that 230 versus 200 in a hold up. So the difference is actually 30 conversions that we gain as an additional conversion because of that Facebook ads. That help us get to the $166 of cost per action. So then we need to compare it with some type of benchmark, and usually we wanting to estimate how much percentage we are willing to spend on acquiring a new business. Consider the total lifetime value we can get from each new business. So the same logic apply. We evaluate the percentage we spend on acquiring additional business through Facebook ads. By having that compared to the benchmark, it's very clear that we cannot afford to spend more than 12%. So we fail this lift test. But does it mean that Facebook ads is not gonna work for everyone? Probably not. You need to do more testing or segmentation. So that's how you utilize lift test to help you evaluate if a new change is worth of launching.
That's all you need to know about the difference between the lift test and the A/B test. If you wanted to check out more details on the step-by-step guidance of how to set up your own lift test, I published an article on Medium at towardsdatascience.com. I will link the article URL in the description box. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, and I'll see you next time. Bye.